This is
more
last
heartbreak.
night. This was the last night. The other story was from the previous day. I mean, from today. That's the coverage from last night before the suspect is in custody now.
A tiny electronic device caused big problems for Amara Harris.
It's been a roller coaster.
Harris was accused of stealing a classmate's AirPods she believed were hers. When confronted, the then high school junior says she returned the AirPods to school officials. But a school resource officer at Naperville North High School still issued a $100 ticket for a theft. Harris says
Naperville North. So they giving out tickets. Naperville North High School. Where would that be? Naperville North.
How do we know? How do we know this was like a mistaken?
She said it was.
It's Illinois.
Mistaken removal of property.
You heard me?
You said it's in Illinois?
Yeah, Illinois. Yep. Or the look, Naperville, Illinois. Naperville.
These, because
They must have migrated from Chicago.
It's about 40 minutes west of Chicago driving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very close. That's very close.
Yeah, that's like right there. Then it's like right outside.
Woo. 5% blacks. So it's 58% white, 18% Asian, and 13% Hispanic. This is a great school. This is a phenomenal school.
This is diversity.
Yeah, this school is, oh man, wow. And look, their proficiency in mathematics. Their proficiency in mathematics is in the state is 20%. In reading is hold on, what does it say? Subject proficiency. So the is 58%. 58% of the students are proficient in math. And 57 are proficient in reading. And 83 are proficient in science.
83? What the fuck?
They have 5,000 students.
Oh, shit.
This is a huge high school. Okay. So, yeah, let's see what this sister.
A tiny electronic device caused big problems for Amara Harris.
It's been a roller coaster.
Harris was accused of stealing a classmate's AirPods she believed were hers. When confronted, the then high school junior says she returned the AirPods to school officials. But a school resource officer at Naperville North High School still issued a $100 ticket for a theft Harris says never happened.
I was angry. I was sad. I felt that I was targeted. With this case,
Harris refused to pay the
targeted
fine, prompting nearly a 4-year legal battle.
He refused to pay the fine.
Of course.
Prompting nearly a 4-year legal battle.
There were more than 50 hearings.
And a 2-day trial where she won.
Amara's issued this ticket, and by her own courage decides that she's not going to pay the ticket because she did nothing wrong. It created, I think, a tension between the city for needing now to double down and defend on a practice that is not only questionable, but we believe is racist.
Now, Harris is taking the city of Naperville to court, filing a $20 million civil suit claiming malicious prosecution and civil rights violations.
But she won, though. What the fuck?
They're the devil, man. These people are just the devil. They're just the devil.
They ruin things. This school is got good practice. Look, if you steal somebody's shit, we give you $100 fine. That's a high trust society. She comes from a low trust society. She doesn't fit in there. She doesn't belong at that school with all those Asians and whites. She doesn't belong there. She's in there, and now when she gets punished, Cause listen, let me tell you something, man. I got earpods in right now, man. And listen, man, I know my earpods because I have a. You know what I'm saying? Like you know your fucking earpods. You don't just pick up somebody else's fucking earpods.
So she stole them, is what you're saying, or
Well,
she
that's
tried to.
what it is. I mean, no matter what the excuse you come up with, oh, I mistakenly took it. You know, it is still called a theft.
Yeah, that's the rules there.
Yeah, you have to pay the fee.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And she got this janky ass Ben Crump ass nigga, and she filing the civil rights were violated.
Wait,
Now, Harris is taking the city of Naperville to court.
wait, hold on. So she picked up someone else's AirPods and she said allegedly that she thought they were hers. That's the story.
Yeah, she gave them back, but it's like, nah, you already took them shit, so you gotta pay the fine. They probably got an honor system there and everything. You know how white people are. They got like an honor system and shit.
But
You know what
but,
I'm saying?
but this is why I what you're saying is probably true because AirPods have their own like fucking you can they usually have the name of the person whose AirPods they are. So
It's
if
so
she
many
got
different brands. First of all, it's so many different brands that like it's the odds of you having the same exact brand and color as somebody next to you is very low. Then when you use them, right, they gotta be paired to your device, right? So like I
right,
can't just pick
that's what
up,
I'm saying.
you
Yep.
know,
Exactly.
I can't just pick up your AirPods and use
And
them
then
shits.
connect them.
Yeah, they gotta be paired to your
Yeah, this
device.
she's lying, bro.
Should have just suspended her and threw her out to school. That's all they did. No, don't even give them a fine. Just suspend.
Suspend her, give her a bucket of chicken, and send her on her way, bro.
Salute to Economics A11. He says, my guy is someone who studied chemistry and finance in college. I'm going to need y'all to eventually explain this DNA claim at the cellular level. Gotta explain. Can't just arbitrarily, vaguely say DNA. Well, man, my man, you must be new to the channel, man. You must be very new to the channel, man. We extensively, I don't think any channel has gone over the DNA situation more than this channel, man. And the DNA not only shows up in the brain, it shows up in everything. We're different in a myriad of ways. Okay, a myriad of ways.
Needing now to double down and defend on a practice that is not only questionable, but we believe is illegal.
Now, Harris is taking the city of Naperville to court, filing a $20 million civil suit claiming malicious prosecution and civil rights violations.
It requires now the intervention of the courts to get the city's attention. I hope it will say to the legislature, to the governor, and to the city that we have to change how we abuse the system and use the process against the interests of our students.
The suit also names the officer who issued the ticket as a defendant. That same officer testifying during the jury trial, he had no direct evidence Harris had stolen the AirPods. In a statement, the city attorney wrote, quote, "We believe the allegations are without merit," saying in part the city is prepared to vigorously defend this lawsuit, adding the police officers relied on eyewitness statements in issuing the citation. The fact that the jury acquitted Ms. Harris does not negate the factual basis for the actions of the city and its officers. The officers named in the suit and the school district didn't respond to our requests for comment. A ProPublica investigation found Black students in Illinois.
Oh my god, please.
But I wonder why.
No.
I wonder why they're ticketed more than their white peers.
Not
Because
the
they steal
racism.
more.
Not
Well,
the
in
racism
Chicago,
of the gap shit, bro.
but but
Please, man.
but in Chicago, black students, mind you, Chicago is ran by just basically blacks. Chicago black students are 48. They make up 48% or more of the arrested students in schools.
Think about how many black Chicago students get murdered or charged with murder every year compared to the amount of white kids that get charged with murder or charged with the shooting or charged with the carjacking. It's probably like literally of all the Illinois students charged with carjacking this last year, 98.9% of them were black and the rest were Latinos. Of all the black kids charged with firearms related offenses, all the way down to possession, all the way up to homicide.
How come when they make the comparisons, they don't make them throughout, meaning that they don't compare blacks and whites,
Always, yeah,
Asians and whites, Asians and blacks, Hispanics and whites, Hispanics and blacks, Hispanics and Asians.
they don't want to bring up the Asians. 'Cause that's gonna make niggas look even worse, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
It's
god,
more white people look better because it's gonna be like, damn, there definitely ain't no racism the way these Asians blowing them out the water. Because if they was racist, they wouldn't stand for this.
bro. That's yeah. I just hate the racism of the gap shit, man. It's like, oh look, it's a disparity between black and whites. Racism, like it's so lazy, bro. It could be so many other different factors, and the first one they always go to is racism, bro.
But here's the thing: I think even if you're a culture guy, if you're a guy who thinks that this stuff is culture, you can still explain this. If you're a DNA guy, no matter what kind of guy you are, if you're a there's not enough programs guy, it's still blacks are twice as like whatever it is. It explains that it justifies this. This is no matter this is what it is. Yes, and here's the thing: I guarantee you that you got to move heaven and earth to ticket a black kid, as we can see in this fucking story. And then yet they're still ticketed twice as much as white kids.
Caught red-handed, by the way. Eyewitness pointed you out.
I bet every school in Illinois is trying to lower its black kids' ticketed rate. And it's still like this. There's nothing you can do about it. But here's the one thing you can do: eliminate ticketing students. And guess what that does?
Well,
That rules the system.
what
You
they,
have less rules.
yeah, they're gonna blame suspensions on racism eventually. Also, this is the game.
They
Right,
already do that shit.
right,
They already do it. They blame low test scores on racism.
Yeah.
They blame like anything that any disparity they can find between blacks and whites, because that's the main. It's all. It's let's keep. That's always the comparison they're gonna go to, bro. Is black and white. They're gonna figure out. Well, they're not gonna even try to figure out. They're just gonna say it's racism, bro.
Yeah. This is
Or heavily imply it.
this right here is they're already gonna erode this school. This school is done. This school, not even the school, the sister, because then they're gonna have to get rid of this in the whole district, then the state. Now you got kids. Now the white kids are gonna start. The schools are gonna get worse because the rules are gonna be slacked, and once the rules are slacked, the black kids are gonna take advantage of the rules being slacked. Then the white kids parents are gonna pull their kids out of the school. Then the test scores are gonna drop. The Asian kids are gonna next pull their kids out of the school, and the test scores are gonna drop even more. And then the school is gonna be like what is it, 5% black now? School's going by once they get rid of this shit in 20 years, this school will be 50% black. Or 70% black even in 20 years. And then all the white parents and Asian parents have to pick up extra shifts to pay for private school and shit. This fucks there's a domino effect to this shit.
Yeah,
Illinois were twice as likely to receive a ticket out of school compared to their white classmates.
Is this a different form of racism?
That's an interesting question. The reason there's a civil rights aspect to it is that there's a disparate application of the issuance of tickets on the basis of race.
Despite everything,
Amara Fallon Harris.
A moment of triumph for Harris after a taxing case. Graduating last month with a bachelor's degree from Spelman College in Atlanta.
You were always
So she went on to Spelman. She went from that school to go on to Spelman, HBC, one of the best HBCUs, and graduated.
Like do you hear this race baiter? Man, this a disparity of tickets being handed out on the basis of race. And they never have to prove this shit, bro.
And you know goddamn well niggas in Chicago are fucking criminal, are prone to criminality.
Triumph for Harris after a taxing case. Graduating last month with a bachelor's degree from Spelman College in Atlanta.
you were always a great helper.
Marla Baker witnessed the emotional toll on her daughter, who she says was an outgoing cheerleader, but now barely speaks above a whisper.
I try to hold
That ticket, so $100 ticket. Yeah, I thought y'all was strong, man. I thought y'all black women was strong. $100 ticket 4 years ago, and she don't speak over a whisper now.
She sure was whispering in that courtroom.
I'm telling you, man, this shit is crazy, man. This shit is these people, black people are fucking nuts, man.
helper.
Marla Baker witnessed the emotional toll on her daughter, who she says was an outgoing cheerleader, but now barely speaks above a whisper.
I try to hold my tears back because I know she's fighting through depression, she's fighting through anxiety, and she's getting back to.
Yo, what is she gonna do when something real in life happens, man? I'm not even gonna try to sit here and brag, man. I think I've had a great life, man. I think I've had a phenomenal life, man. A phenomenal life, man. But you know, challenges happen throughout the years, man. What I'd like to know what some of the other challenges she's had in her life, man. If this caused her so much, and so much problems, man.
The black experience can't be this hard as niggas make it out to be if this is what's gonna like send you into a motherfucking deep depression and give you all this anxiety. It can't be that hard to be black, like how these niggas claim it is.
Nah, man. Shout out to King Salah Bean on Rumble. He says, take the damn challenge, the $5 challenge. Yeah, man. Take the challenge, man, on 4th of July, man. Support the damn channel, man.
You see how this civil rights shit, it just invigorates something in niggas, bro. I don't. It's just something about going head up with the fuck quote unquote system. It's just it gives niggas energy, bro.
It's our politic, man. It's how we politic in this country, man. It's how we politic. This is how we've in the '60s with the protesting and shit. We evolved to politic that way. We don't politic the way everybody else politics, with delegates and passing laws and getting ordinance changes and putting shit on the ballot and da 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 da. We politic the way our brain would normally work. Gab up and make a big fuss and make a bunch of noise. Hold it down, though. I gotta go do something.
Yeah, but not all of us do this, man. This is this, this it's a cultural thing. Yeah, some people come from different cultures and they couldn't care less what the whites are doing, Hispanics are doing. They more focus on their own group. So it's a cultural thing. It's an American thing. That's just what that is. It's an Anglo thing. I think a lot of American Negroes are infatuated with whites, infatuated with. They have an unhealthy of obsession uh, with the white societies, and they have an attitude as if I don't know, they're constantly chasing white shadows. I don't know why. So I don't know.
Bro. I mean, I get what you're saying, but if you say this to a black person, bro,
when they call like foreign blacks that tethers and all that stuff. That's just another way of subhuman. But that has always been in their culture too, to treat other ethnic groups as subhumans outside of the whites. When they talk as if the Hispanics do not exist in this land. Like they incorporate Hispanics uh into their culture without asking permission. They say black and brown and stuff like that, and they call other blacks tethered and things of that nature. And in the 80s and in the 70s, when these other groups were coming in, they used to rob them and kill them. And this is a lot of them. This is why they went on to form gangs and things of that nature because of this behavior. So this is exactly why other groups do not talk to them. They're having a conversation with them. A lot of people in America can't tell you they've never been inside of a Mexican dude's house. They've never been inside of a Salvadorian's house. They've never been inside of a Jamaican dude's house. They've never been inside of a Haitian dude's house. They don't even realize that. They don't really know where the other ethnic groups, as if I think they're like so obsessed with the Europeans that they don't even know where the other groups, like they're not even aware of the other groups. It's just white, 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 24 hours a day.
It's just, it never ends either, bro.
Never ends.
Never ends, bro.
And it's like it's a fatal attraction. Like they have to leave their neighborhoods. Yo, you got to get out the hood. Go where? To the white man's neighborhood.
Yep.
And it's they constantly chasing white shadows. They chase wherever the white men go. They chase them. They never figured out, like, you know what, yo, let's make this, like the Chinatown. Like you go in Brooklyn. There's a huge Haitian and Jamaican population in certain areas. They've been there for years. Like you go into places like in Texas, the Nigerian dudes, they live in certain areas. They've been there for years. In Massachusetts, I don't know if you ever been there. In Boston, Cape Verdeans. Cape Verdeans are like a bunch of they're like slave descents, but they live in, it's an island off of the coast of Africa. There's certain areas they live in Massachusetts. They've been there for years. They've established their neighborhoods. They got their little stores and everything. Dominicans, they have their own stores, have their own little neighborhoods. They don't want to leave. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
They don't view the Europeans' neighborhood as like the heaven on earth or something like that.
Right.
It's like, yo, fix your neighborhood up, bro. Get your store. Stop hating. Stop making fake ass excuses. Yo, foreigners, when they come to America, they be getting 10,000. I hear that.
Yo, you know how many niggas I heard say that shit?
They be saying the dumbest things, bro.
I'm like, damn, foreigners get all this bread just for coming here.
Well, now they probably get 10,000. That's because of Mr. Rabbi Joe Biden and all these, these migrants that are coming from these socialist countries that's there to destroy.
But yeah, it's a cult, bro. It's like, yo, these immigrants, when they get here,
yes,
the white man set them all. And look, and then the conspiracy come in. They set it all up to specifically the whole Black Progress back, and so we don't have our own businesses. And
this is where the hatred forms. Because it goes from there, then it's like, oh, they don't like us, and then you have JoJo and Leroy go outside every day robbing people. They catch that African dude on that corner, African cap dude. They shoot him in his dome. They take his cash. They go into 7-Eleven. They see that the Indian dude. They shoot him and take his money because they don't view him as a human being. You see what I'm saying? But it all starts from the community in itself. So a lot of times, a lot of these guys that's out there from that community that's shooting and killing and stuff like that, that attitude, it starts from the community in itself.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That behavior is nurtured. I don't agree with the DNA stuff, by the way.
I see.
I don't agree with stuff like that. I believe in lawlessness. I believe in nurtured. I believe in culture and things of that nature. I think every evil starts from a small plant and it grows into a big tree.
So are you saying DNA has nothing to do with anything that any of these problems?
I don't. I see. My thing is, I'm not a DNA expert, and I haven't looked into DNA, so I can't make like what he said there. He said you can't arbitrarily vaguely say DNA.
You're right.
He's actually correct because none of us are actually DNA expert. He said in his statement, he said, "I studied chemistry and finance in college." So this man, he has a background. I mean, he should
I
actually.
don't believe if you believe him. I mean, I don't believe this nigga, bro. He
Oh
every
no.
time he comments, he sounds like
Well, since
brain
I'm
dead.
my thing is whether I believe or not is irrelevant because I don't know much about DNA like that as far as behavioral. You see what I mean? So I can't comment on it because I don't know. So
Yeah,
maybe maybe on the panel know.
he
I
says, as some who studied chemistry and finance in college, like when niggas say that, they just mean they had a mandatory Chem 101. So like, yo, I studied chem in college, bro. Bro,
you say so you saying he took like algebra 1
nigga
and
took
he majored in liberal arts? Like my uncle. You sound like my uncle. One time, this fool came up to my uncle talking about, "Oh yeah, I'm going. I went to this university." And my uncle was like, "Yo, spell psychology." Now, my uncle, he went to school in the '70s. Man, he was highly intelligent dude, bro. In the '70s, when you went to college in the '70s, like you really had to study. There was no nonsense, none of this stuff here. Curving grades and stuff like that. It had none of that stuff. You know.
bro. I guarantee you, economics. He hasn't taken calc, bro. I guarantee you, bro.
Probably, but my whole thing with him also, why don't he should have came up there and joined the panel? If this is what it is,
Right.
uh,
And we've challenged him to show up before, and he's never accepted the challenge. Um, but wait, the reason why I say it's DNA, because even though like you said, I haven't done extensive research. I have listened to a lot of people talk about it, but that's not my research, so I can't really.
but the reason why I'm more in line with his way of thinking, because as you look at history, you look at the whites in themselves. Like you look at European history, and you start looking at the Germanic tribes, how they were considered savages, barbarians. As they entered into Roman land, they simply changed their behavior. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
I mean, even if you was to say, well, DNA says, because the Romans could have easily said, well, the DNA says that these barbarians that are coming from the east, they're liable to, do this and do that. But as they entered and conquered the Roman lands and they intertwined with the Roman land, they simply change their behavior. You see what I mean? Even in England, a lot of the British that came here in the that originally started coming here in the United States, where they in the areas where they left England, it was an area known as basically like non-inversion of white trash, where they spoke in vulgarity, they believed in perversion and stuff like that. But as the years went by, they eventually fell in line and accepted the laws. See the thing. The thing with the blacks is that they don't accept laws.
But why do you think that is though?
It's the culture of lawlessness starts in the home.
But
After
the reason I say to me, it has to, a large part of this has to be DNA, because when you say, all right, what's the main shit that we look at with niggas that's a major problem? Violence, fucking lawlessness, uh low academic achievement,
all
shit
these
like
all
that.
stems from the laws.
But
The
when you observe niggas, bro, this isn't an American thing, bro. This shit, you can go to the continent, bro, and niggas going through the same shit.
But wait a minute now, because in the continent of Africa, when you look at Africa in itself as far as crime rates, there's only a few places that actually stands out where the blacks were taken as slaves. Those areas like Nigeria, places like that, and then you have South Africa, and then you go up towards like Kenya. Outside of that, is they're very into laws.
I had to
The lawlessness in that continent. If you think about that.
because I've looked up the murder rate and shit like that. That
Yeah.
shit is high, bro.
You're not. Some of these countries, the murder rate is very low.
I was speaking to someone on another panel. One of those countries in Africa. I was like, holy shit, this shit is low. But he said they basically enacted some draconian shit.
Yeah, well,
If
yeah,
you take that, then to me that proves that you have to go above and beyond for niggas, bro.
yeah, but well, you know what? This is the same thing in the Arab lands. In the Arab lands, they enact allegedly draconian laws themselves.
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
so that probably says some shit about them too. It's probably takes a certain amount of force to get these groups of people to act right, bro.
Europeans used to be in this. Europeans used to enact draconian laws themselves until they eventually were nurtured into what they are today. You see what I'm saying? You go back to the Dark Ages, you go back to the days of the Romans and so forth like that. They were fierce.
So you saying so? Look what you're saying, bro. It took them doing it took environmental pressures to sort of. I guess it damn, what's the word? I guess it changed like is I could somebody can explain this shit better than me, but the
You,
environmental pressures changed the people to where it changed certain predispositions they might have had to certain things over time.
yeah,
And
which
now you don't have to do that anymore. But to me, that even says DNA even more because you had to do that back then to
evolved.
cultivate the type of people that you have now.
Yeah, they've evolved into something to more and more.
But evolution is DNA. Evolution isn't nurture. Evolution is like you're changing the actual code of,
Yeah, but
of a people.
see, but when you're dealing with DNA, you can't, like he said, you just can't put it on everyone. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're using DNA, then you would have to say, like, well, you know what? The whites were towards where the lands like Scandinavia, they tend to be more docile.
Yeah, I'm
And then when you get the whites like in the Anglo-Saxons, they tend to be more rugged. The Germans, they tend to speak in clenched teeth, like this. They don't know their mouth at all. They don't make no hand gestures.
yeah. I could say that's
Is
probably
because now if you say, well, is that must be DNA? Well, then their DNA and the Scandinavians is the same. See,
I don't
this is where you kind of like
I
tread.
don't I
Uh,
don't know I don't know if it's I don't know if all white I don't like I know we look at them all as white people, but I'm pretty sure it's some sort of genetic. They probably all cluster very closely together, but I guarantee if you go to like the Balkan regions and they all the way in the east of Europe, and then you go out to the west, it probably is some sort of divergence somewhere.
or
And
more rugged.
anywhere where it's a divergence, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to manifest itself in certain behaviors and thought processes.
But I believe I don't never count any group of people out, and I always me because this is just my personality. I always think I can eventually change you. So this is my personality. So I'm always going to lean in this man's comments. I'm because that's just my personality. I always feel like a group of people can always change. You see what I'm saying? I don't count any group out.
Yeah, but you would have to change it through, like you said, it would have to be
Done.
some very heavy environmental pressure on these
When you
people.
have rugged people, you have to use heavy-handedness in order for them to change. But the problem with the blacks here is that they will not allow you to use heavy-handed tactics on them because they don't believe that they need to change. They believe you need to change. You need to adapt to them. You need to evolve into their ways. That's the problem.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, man. Let's get back to see what else is going on in here in Blackistan on 4th of July, man. Uh, let's see.
And the FBI and Department of Homeland Security are issuing a warning about large 4th of July celebrations. According to intelligence bulletins obtained by ABC News, the federal agencies say the biggest threats come from both lone offenders and small groups.